This is a box opening of an alternator. It's a NAPA. It's a 213-4011SW. I use them on my Massey Ferguson 255 and 265. The alternator is set up for 12 o'clock. I'll show you that. Basically, it's 180 degrees out. Alternator, this is how I hook it up. It makes the DC. There's the part number. I hook it up to the positive terminal on the battery and the negative terminal on the battery. Plus, you'll see that the chassis goes to ground. They call it one wire because in the cars, typically where the alternator is tied to ground, you just need the one wire going to the battery. But on my tractor, the way I do it is I run the two wires so I can physically see it. And then I'll hook a current probe across there to get it to work. All right, here we go with opening the box. Maybe. Like so. Important notice, vehicles affected, discharged batteries. Here's some paperwork. Avis, important. Oh, that's different language. Vehicles affected, discharged battery. Anyway, that really doesn't matter for the 50-year-old tractors I got. Okay, here's how it comes in a box. I'm going to have to take the core back in a box. But as we look at this, what do we have here? Proper electrical test can only be tested on vehicle I'll have to ask about that. Anyway, the way that this works is you hook the positive battery terminal to this end, the negative terminal to this end, and of course this you can see is tied directly to the chassis. So that's ground. So if you got this connected to the tractor, that's a ground. The other side here it says here idle 39 amps. It sits in the tractor like so, and this holds the bracket so you can do the fan belt. The problem I have is the fan belt that I have is different than this one. This is thin for the car, but I'm going to be putting on a different, I'll be showing you, I'm going to put on a different pulley. Continuing on, you notice that I hesitated right here because I saw the two plugs. This typically, when it was put in cars years ago, would control the regulation, but that circuit's been bypassed in this model. Right here, it says here that proper electrical test can only be tested on vehicle. Warranty is void if it's placed on a bench tester. And the reason that is, in my humble opinion, is that it needs to have battery plus here on this side and a minus for the charge to energize. That's what I think is going on there. Now on the other alternator, there was this piece that I pulled off, and indeed it looks just like this one here. All right, and this is a cover, and so I'm going to install the cover back on this alternator so I get less trash and stuff in the alternator, because this does run exposed. Now I'm going to have to go find and remove this nut here. Let me go get a socket. What I'm going to do is show you a couple things. Let me get my gloves on. It's cold out in the garage. I can see the sun coming up, so it's going to be a nice day. It's going to get to 60, but it's not there yet for sure. So we got here the actual pulley I pulled off. If you take a look, it's definitely different. It is wider right here. So what I'm going to do, it's a 15/16 size. Hopefully that nut's the same way. Yeah, it looks like it. I'm going to remove the nut. There it went, just like so. Let me spin it all the way off. Okay. There's the pulley. There's the fan blade. And that's going to go back on the other alternator. It didn't take much convincing. So okay, let me go see if I can find a spacer. I was trying to avoid bringing this in, but what the hey, I'm just going to have to do laundry. If you take a look, you'll see that spacer. It'll come right off like so. It's 1/8 of an inch maybe, but it keeps it far enough off. Actually, there's 2 of them. There may be a 3rd. So let me take a look here. All right, there's a spacer right there. So what I'm going to do is to move this over, dirt and all, right there. Come in here, and then you can see the dirt, things falling off it. That's why they go bad. It gets dirt and grime, and to be honest with you, the tractors stay outside the whole time. But there goes the 2 spacers. 1, 2. Now I'm going to set this back on like so. Get my gloves on so I don't cut my hands. Are the shafts the same size? That shaft seems to be a little longer. Let's see how this goes. Okay. You can see it spins freely. So here we go with this nut. I'm not going to put the lock washer on, I don't think. I didn't have it on before. So I'm going to keep that spacer though, depending on how long the shaft I get. So let me come here, hold this. Okay, you can see it spins, not making contact, and it's in. So there you go. Now, I'm going to come here, give all this back to them. Go place all this stuff back where it goes. This is going to go in the box. Those are going to go in the parts bin. And yeah, I decided it was cold in the garage, so I wanted to do it all here and have a video so you can see it. Here, okay, very good. This is the schematic I drew and showed you in the video previously. Basically, it's the alternator, direct current comes out of it. There's a small pin connector, red, that goes to a wire that you're going to have to install and run it over to the positive terminal battery. There's a larger bolt that goes and screws right into the alternator's chassis, which ends up going to the negative lead in the ground. That's how I did mine. But that's the NAPA part number. It's a 213-4011, and it's an alternator, a one-wire alternator, as you can see here, at 12 o'clock, which means that it's 180 degrees for the connections where the bolts go in. All right, that's what I have. It fits my 255 and 265. I know I don't own a 275, so I don't know exactly if that fits. And you got to remember, these tractors are 50 years old or so, and they still run. Amazing. Right, let's see the next schematic here. This is the gasoline version of the engine, and this is basically all three of them, the 265, the 255, and the 275. You have your light switch here with basically the electronics, your instrument panel, positions for your light switch on. It shows you that detail over here. None of this works on my tractor. So let's see, what else do we have? We have the alternator and the regulator. Now these appear to be the same. Matter of fact, you'll see when we get to the diesel, these are all the same. Now the way I'm currently configured is I bypassed the neutral switch, and I told my brother-in-law I was going to do it. I'm going to rewire it, and you'll see that come springtime. We had to get it working so he would have two tractors to get out the hay. The starter wasn't working. And of course, you see right here, distributor, spark plugs, let's see, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the right hand corner here in the coil. So that's how that's configured should you have one. And of course you can pause this recording right here so you can capture the screen or look at the screen if you need to. So let me minimize this one and get the diesel diagram up. Okay. All right, let me zoom in. You'll see it's a little less cluttered. Here's your power, the switch, the positions, just like you saw on the last tractor. I didn't study it hard. You'll see here the starter solenoid and the starter. That's all integrated in one piece. I got a big one in there now on the 255. It's 40 pounds. I read that somewhere as I looked at it for shipping. So it's a big, heavy, old type, but you'll see a plus for the battery and a minus. It goes to the chassis ground. That battery, it's tied directly to the starter solenoid on the tractor. It comes over and goes right here to one side of the regulator. Now all this is different. Okay, basically, if you look there, that battery connection goes to the battery. There's a ground connection on the alternator that goes to ground. That regulator, all of that stuff is internal and generates the 12 volts once the regulator is running. Once the tractor's running, the regulator energizes because of the 12 volts going into it here, and it outputs. And it says up to typical 39 amps. I know it'll go higher, but that's how it basically works and charges. And it's like on the first drawing I showed you, it just goes straight to the battery. And when I rewire this here in the springtime or summertime, I'll show you basically all of it. So there's an automatic lighter there too. Wow, that's there. It's a hole now. But anyway, that's what you have. Those are the connections. So you have this. Matter of fact, if you want to screen stop it, you can do that or save it to catch the what the circuitry actually looks like on the Massey Ferguson 255, 65, and 75 diesel. That's this copy here. Okay, thanks for watching.